you to think of any other, again, celebrity on that kind of level that's making $500 a night. If that's the case, obviously these are his allegations. And one of the reasons that Alberto would be particularly offended by that sum of money is the reality is, unlike a lot of other wrestlers, they come into WWE from nothing, indie workers who very often probably wrestled for free each night. Alberto was already a bona fide, established main event star and celebrity in a major promotion before he came to WWE. So maybe not as starstruck by WWE. I asked him if that was the case.
Yes, of course. Actually, that's something I said to somebody over there in WWE when they try to pay me. When they try to pay me $800 for one show, I said, "Hey, here you go. Here's your check. Probably you need it more than I do. I was doing more money than this when I started in Mexico 15 years ago. I was somebody before you, and I'm gonna be somebody the day I leave WWE." And of course they fixed it because they knew I wasn't happy, and maybe they weren't happy because I was always complaining about the money, and they were always fixing it. I'm gonna give them credit for that because they were always fixing it. But it was my eternal battle every single week, going to that office and complaining about the money and fighting for what was mine. My money from my hard work that I always did in the ring.
You really get the sense of frustration that Alberto had there in his final months and years in WWE. As I mentioned, this guy was already a big star before he showed up at WWE for years. And I asked him if, unlike wrestlers who are getting their start in the United States, if wrestlers in Mexico, luchadors, even established ones, saw WWE as the major leagues, is that what they aspired to? Or maybe were they not as enamored with the prospect of one day working for WWE?
No. Of course, everybody wants to get to WWE because that's supposed to be the major leagues of pro wrestling. And that's the way it was. That's the way it was when I started with them, because when John Laurinaitis was in charge, everybody was making money. The low-card guys, the middle card guys, and of course the main eventers. But everybody was making money, and that was the whole point. That was the whole idea of getting there to finally get rewarded for all those years busting your ass in the gym and busting your ass in little arenas or high school gyms. But now those days are gone. Now those days are gone, and it's just few people is making money over there. Again, I have to give them credit because they always paid me well. Always paid me well since the beginning. Even when they removed John Laurinaitis from the charge, from that position, they were paying me well, but because I was always fighting for my move.
It was clear to anybody that followed Alberto Del Rio from his WWE arrival to his last few months in the company that it was just a different guy. And Alberto, I guess, here was explaining some of that. In those first few months, he could do no wrong. He, months after arriving in WWE, won the Royal Rumble, was wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, won the Money in the Bank, won the WWE Championship later that year. Yet in his last year, maybe, and certainly his final months in WWE, he was jerking the curtain in opening matches on shows. Clearly didn't look as motivated as he did before, even while putting on really strong performances. I asked him if maybe some of the complaining he did and venting of those frustrations about creative, about money, led to him being put in the doghouse.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows what happened. And they know the whole story. So I don't even want to talk about it, but you can see the difference. You just said it. Yeah. From my first 4 years with my last 2 years. I mean, people doesn't have to be too smart to realize and to know that something happened that made everything change. But luckily for me, I'm a good wrestler. Everybody wants me to go to their places because they know I'm going to give them more than 100%. So saying that is, with that, I answer to your last question about if there's life out of WWE. Yes, there is when you have talent. I have bookings all over the world. Mexico, I went back to Mexico. There's nobody bigger than me in Mexico. No, hold on, no. Ray is the number one in Mexico, and I will be the second one. Because Ray Mysterio is like God down there. So besides Ray, there's nobody bigger than me in Mexico. We are celebrities, real celebrities down there. We are probably more popular than the president. So I have that on my favor. And here in the United States, I made a name, and they know I'm a good worker, and that's the reason organizations like Ring of Honor are inviting me to go to their company. That's the reason TNA and other places wanted to have me. And to all of them, all I gotta say is thank you. Thank you for that, and thank you for the opportunity of show you what I can do.
And while we're on the subject of thank yous, I'd like to thank Ring of Honor Wrestling for setting us up with Alberto El Patron, the latest addition to their roster. As I said, I think he's going to fit in just fine. You could check out all their dates at rohwrestling.com. And pretty soon you'll be able to check out Alberto in Lucha Underground as well. Lucha Underground obviously handling the heritage or tradition of Mexican Lucha Libre with respect and class, and I asked Alberto about the fact that we didn't always see that same respect from WWE in their portrayal of some Latin wrestlers. I mentioned the Mexicals and Juventud Guerrera riding to the ring in a lawnmower, the Puerto Rican Colon tag team being recast as Matadors, and I asked Alberto whether those kind of stereotypes and that kind of treatment of Latin wrestlers was something that bothered him.
No, not really. I mean, because they don't know. They don't know the Latin culture. They don't even. I don't think they care about the Latin culture. But I mean, it is what it is. It's the nature of our business. They're always going to have us doing things that we don't want to. And in this case, we all can say no. At the end of the day, that's what the company is going to say. Hey, we're not forcing anybody. At the end of the day, we're paying them, and that's the reason they're doing it. But there's a big difference when you're just playing a character, you're just playing a role, and when those type of things go backstage, that's totally different.
Right.
That's something I'm gonna let. That's something I will never let that happen again. And when it happened, that's why I spoke up.
The former Alberto Del Rio talking a bit about the incident that led him to leave WWE. In case you didn't hear about it, the word was that there was a office worker backstage, unnamed, who said something that was racially insensitive toward Alberto, and Alberto responded with some physicality, let's say, and he was let go shortly thereafter. Word was that there was some litigation. It was settled, and part of that settlement is Alberto being able to wrestle now for Lucha Underground, for Ring of Honor, and anywhere else for that matter. Coming after CM Punk's very high-profile departure earlier in 2014, where he also appeared to take a stand against some things that he saw as being wrong in WWE, I asked Alberto if maybe this was the beginning of a trend of wrestlers standing up to the real-life authority, and maybe a case of life imitating art, and he gave me his prediction on that.
Well, it's just... I don't think that's going to happen because nobody wants to lose his job. We all have families, or we all have a goal in life, and we want to save money. And it's a difficult situation. I did it because because again, like I said it earlier, I was thinking on not staying with them. So I mean, I knew that I was going to be fine out of WWE, and that's the reason I didn't think twice to stand up to fight for my rights and fight for my beliefs. But maybe 6 years ago when I started, if an incident like that would have happened, I don't know if I would have done the same thing. I don't know. I mean, everything in life is timing, and of course I'm proud of who I am and where I come from. But it's really difficult because we all have different positions, and we all live different lives. And in my case, I have 3 little babies, and in the moment that happened, I was like, okay, I'm gonna fight for my rights because I wanna teach my kids that they have to fight for their beliefs, and this is what I'm gonna do. And now, plus, I know I can go somewhere else. Right. If it wasn't for that, maybe I would have stayed because I have to feed my family. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people wants to do something, wants to go somewhere else, but they don't do it because they're just afraid of what's going to happen after their life in WWE.
Alberto El Patron really making a case for the on-air authority storyline maybe not being that far removed from real life as far as wrestlers really being under the thumb of WWE management and maybe being scared of speaking up at the risk of losing their jobs. I asked Alberto if he felt like there were any real missed opportunities with his portrayal on WWE, especially with all the talk of their wanting to expand into Mexico, into Latin markets. If he thought that they got the most out of the Alberto Del Rio character for the years that he was in WWE.
Well, I mean, I was never happy with that since the beginning. And I didn't like the way they were doing it, the way they were writing the stories. It's just so funny right now because everybody's talking about how passionate I am when I'm doing my promos with Ring of Honor, with the House of Hardcore in Philly and all the other places, and all that I can say is you can feel the passion and the love because that's who I am. That's me. That's the real Alberto. Nobody's forcing me to say something. In the other place, I was never saying anything because I wanted. And for some reason, I changed it. I changed one line. Of course, they were all mad and they were finding me and everything. So people need to understand that when you work for that place, you are like a robot. You need to do exactly what they say and how they say it.
Oh. You would get fined for changing a line in a promo?
You can get fined over there for everything. For everything.
That's really interesting because I don't know if you heard Vince McMahon's interview with Steve Austin where he talked about the lack of ambition in the locker room and the fact that the younger generation of wrestlers aren't reaching for the brass ring. But when you hear something like that, I mean, that tells you a lot about maybe why they aren't reaching for it. I mean, it sounds like you're terrified to do anything other than exactly what they're telling you to do.
That's exactly how it is. Everybody is terrified. We all were or they are terrified of changing something or try something new. Of course, there are some exceptions. I'm going to say it again. There's some exceptions out there. They can do and say whatever they want, but that rule don't apply to the 90% of the wrestlers.
So next time you hear Roman Reigns use the term suffering succotash, maybe you'll understand why he doesn't go off script at all. Alberto Del Rio, or the former Alberto Del Rio, again, they're talking about what it's like working in WWE and how closely wrestlers are scripted and managed, and fears by some wrestlers of repercussions if they stray from that script even a little bit. I made the comparison to CM Punk as far as Alberto's decision to stand up against WWE and the legal fight and the fact that he has found a life after WWE, just as CM Punk has done. The other obvious similarity is MMA and the fact that Alberto Del Rio does have a past in mixed martial arts, and some rumors have floated as of late about him possibly making a return to MMA. People have even speculated whether he might be an opponent for CM Punk. He talked a bit about what, if any, interest he has in returning to the cage.
No. I mean, there's some offers out there, but that's. I mean, I don't want to go back to MMA because number one, I'm making money in pro wrestling, and I don't. I'm 37 years old right now. I don't know if that's something I really want to do. I will do it if the right money is there. So far, all the offers are good, but they're not as spectacular to make me go back into the MMA world. So I've been saying this since the first offer came. If you make me the right offer, I will do it. I will just need some time to train and get back in fighting shape, and I will do it. But again, so far, the money, it's okay, it's good, but not to make me go back to MMA.
When you watch MMA and how it's evolved even since you fought, do you see a place for you there? I mean, do you think that you can hang in there with the kind of the level of fighting and fighter that is out there now?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, if I go back to train to fight, yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, I'm not saying that I'm gonna. If I go back, I'm gonna have 10, 20 fights. No, of course no. I don't want to do it. I don't think I have the age to do it. So I will do it. I will do it for the right amount of money and probably just 2 or 3 fights, and that's it. I'm not planning on getting another chance in the MMA world. It's just I will do it 2 or 3 times, and that's it.
While we were on the topic of CM Punk and MMA, I asked Alberto for his take on Punk joining UFC and whether anything he picked up from a career in pro wrestling might translate to the octagon.
I mean, we're athletes. I know CM Punk has been training for a while, and he has a good team backing him up. So I mean, why not? Why not? Nobody started knowing how to fight. So all you need is the heart and the skills. And if CM Punk's team already saw that CM Punk has the skills and he's a real athlete, why not? Why not? I mean, if the offer is there and if he feels he can do it, why not? I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay. I hope he does well because, he's my friend and because he deserves it.
Yeah, maybe a future opponent. Can you make, what's the weight class, 185?
Maybe if I caught both of my legs, yeah. No, I don't think I can make that weight.
This would be a catch weight fight.
But again, I mean, everybody's talking me up. Everybody's asking me about that because they know there's some offers out there. But I don't even want to get into that because I don't think they're gonna offer me the money I need to go back to MMA. If it happens, of course, I'm gonna tell the world that finally somebody came with the right offer, and I will be doing 2 or 3 fights.
And considering all the new opportunities opened up to Alberto Del Rio since leaving WWE and the fact that by his own admission he's making good money, he may even check out MMA if it works out. I asked him if in the end it all turned out for the better, and his answer was a little surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I would not say that everything worked well at the end because it doesn't matter the way, how you want to see it. What they did to me was wrong, and it was pretty bad. It was. I still think about that today because it was bad. You know, it wasn't fair. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could have done it in a different way. They didn't do it, and that's in the past. But it was wrong. It was wrong. I mean, I'm fine right now, but I will never be happy with how my story with WWE ended.
Well, that about does it. I want to thank the former Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Patron, for taking the time with me, and also thank Ring of Honor for setting it up. You'll be able to read the entire Alberto interview in the June issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. For now, you'll want to check out the Uterine Wrestling issue, which is available for download right now at pwi-online.com, and will hit the newsstands later this month. Thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, I'll talk to you soon.